essentially a sixth man anyway. He always has been. And with Endpoint no longer being a UK roster, that they have to bring in someone to fill the gap. And to have arguably one of the best, if not the best riflers we've seen coming out of the UK in, the last 5 years? So it's not exactly a bad person to have as just a stand-in for a playoff game. They're scary, man. But we're about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen, in towards our final quarter-final, the final best of 3 of the day. It's Endpoint taking on Arctic Raptors as Endpoint start Inferno on this CT side.
Let's get it going, ladies and gents. Let us know who you think. You Arctic Raptors, you Endpoint. Let us know in the Twitch chat. The polls over at ESL UK, I mean, maybe it's a popularity contest more than anything. I'm here for it. I was always looking into these, and I think anyone rationally would be saying, well, I think Endpoint should be winning, but the votes over at home, mate, it's closer than you'd think. 43.8 to 56.3. That's the result right now. In that second game over at ESL UK on Twitter, by the way, if you want to go and follow them. Thomas, oh mate, in for a worldie of a flank. Does have himself the first and has to back away. A little bit of inaccuracy, just having a look to make sure no one's going to be flanking me. Zodi was thinking about that kind of play, but instead Aatrox wants to send it up towards Long, and Mighty Max is waiting for him. A smoke towards Moto to kind of cut information and everything like that, but out towards sight. It's a nice shot from Beve, but a missed chance from Zodi. Aatrox will trade 3v3.
Now, bomb will go down. Post plant set up, and as you mentioned, numbers level makes this a real possibility. Thomas already found himself one. MHL and Nerds need to step up to the plate as well, and a lot of damage dealt over towards Bevy. Him down to 32.
I mean, a post plant, though. That's pretty promising. Nerds attempting from short. Aatrox now's the shot. That's his second in the round. Thomas has to back up and wait for the cavalry to arrive. It's MHL that tries to take the fight to Beve, but Arctic Raptors, they'll just continue to hold down the site. A nice shot from Beve, turns around as well. All players peeking, whiffing, just getting caught in the crossfire. Aatrox should have this one covered. Even if he doesn't, there's just not enough time on the bomb, and MHL will run to save. And it is indeed Endpoint that lose the pistol. Arctic Raptors 1-0 ahead.
He's being hunted. Fortunately for him, that new extended bomb radius saves his life. All 5-4 for Arctic Raptors, but the most important thing, they find themselves 4 kills. A bomb plant as well means there's plenty of economy for the T side to work with. For Endpoint, a little bit of a wake-up call. Was started well for Thomas. He couldn't quite convert into a second, and they had no chance of a retake there. They lost control of that A site. They were being split from both long and short, and I think they were just caught in too much about how they wanted to play that. Do they go aggressive, deny the bomb going down? Maybe they should have.
I'm going to peek in. Scout of MHL. Cracks open the skull of Aatrox between his eyes. Doesn't matter through wall or not, that scout is going to terrify. But out towards B, Arctic Raptors with the remaining resources will look for an execute. Mighty Max is the only person here to try and hold up on the site. He drops a smoke of his own. Arctic Raptors want to go running through Max. He plays in the smoke, tries to be cheeky. No one from Arctic Raptors is looking. They're going to think he's playing for a retake. Instead, he'll emerge back through, but Bebe's holding it. Knows Max all too well about that one. 4v4.
Now, trying to make something work in their favor. I guess for Endpoint, playing exits could work quite nicely for them, but it looks like they want to give this a go, potentially. No, falling away. I think it's a case of a save goal here, potentially leave the scout to play exits. Oh, and MHL gets deleted. Beve, for not playing CS in a team for a while, he's looking pretty crisp right now as he nails himself for a second kill.
Hey, tell you what, Endpoint have been poking holes through this Arctic Raptors investment, but it stings just as much for that CT side. Nice shot from Zodi, but yeah, I think you're dead there, mate. Yeah, long gone. I was going to say, didn't you learn about that in the pistol? Apparently not. Whiffing. I think he went running to try and get the gun back, but instead, that'll be palmed off and AK lost. But at the same time, you know Endpoint, they're not going to exactly buy into this round again. This is just going to be an eco around whatever's saved. And so for Arctic Raptors, you see Aatrox on a Mac 10, a few more Galils, just a lot looser with the investment to keep some economy in their back pocket. And it should be 3-0 up. Let's see if they can hold on to that.
That's it. Of course, for Endpoint, as you mentioned, there's not really too much for them to work with. Try to take a pop shot, and we'll catch Ducky down to 31. It's been a great start for Arctic Raptors. Make it a 3-0 here. they've already got a bit of a gap to work with before the first full buy of Endpoint.
Slow. Arctic Raptors yet again playing things a little more on the hush. Scout on CT. Arctic Raptors don't have to be as scared for these repeats from MHL. Ducky did get tagged. Ultimately for Endpoint, though, they put 3 towards B, 2 of which only on pistols. Thomas is one of them, and he has himself a single kill. Aatrox and Ducky do very well to eradicate any pressure with the USP combo. And MHL, I mean, going for some no-scopes of his own. Respect the attempts, and I like the idea, and the appeal certainly there as well. No change in this one. Beve wants some damage. Zodi, got to be careful. 4v3. I mean, Endpoint, you might as well send it this round. You know you've got a full buy in the next anyways. Any damage to the T side would be good. No kit either, so you've really got to get a move on if you want to be winning this round. Surreal starts to edge in. He has himself a kill. And, well, there you go. Whiffen has to turn back around and make sure that bomb isn't going to get defused. Surreal taps it. Very messy from Whiffen. It is eventually going to be the bomb detonating. Zodi survives. Beve also does. Surreal 3 points of health. Beve, removed by Surreal. Thought he would have had that one. He only needed 1 shot even to the pinky toe. Unfortunately for Arctic Raptors, probably lost a bit too much than they would have wanted in that round. But it's a 3rd on the board. Stop the count, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, Surreal's made that very expensive on the way out. I mean,
yeah.
You mentioned, you know, only got the MP9. You may as well send it because they know they've got an investment towards the next. So for him to walk away with 3 kills on the back of that round, credit. I mean, I take some individual brilliance, mechanical prowess, and it works wonders. Now, a full buyout for Endpoint. They have to convert this. So they fall to what is essentially a bonus for Arctic Raptors in a way, because of course they've kept a couple of rifles from the previous. Then things do get a little bit more dicey. And all about both ways, and mid-control taken by the Arctic Raptors.
I like this. How fast? Nerds deleted by Aatrox. MHL will find Zodi. There's still an AWP on the side, but a missed shot from MHL. Starting to press the issue here, Ducky. He will get removed. Surreal's Galil. I don't know, man. How can you keep allowing these one-to-ones happen? Arctic Raptors just go in piece by piece by piece. And Whiffen on the AWP, 1v4. Don't really count him in this round all too well. I mean, a minute to burn to try and save the big green.
It's tough, right? I mean, I think for Whiffen, the save call's got to be made here. I mean, the only thing that he could be potentially playing for is, you know, 1 on exit in terms of if they go for a little hunt on his own. They'd expect him to be very, very passive, maybe back over towards T-spawn, and with him just post up and towards apartments, he might get away with a kill or 2. But yeah, this has to be a save call. For the CT side, they can just play kind of Mr. President around the bomb. Just guard it. Make sure nothing gets in the way of anything being collected or salvaged on the way out. Yeah, Whiffen, he cannot afford to lose his AWP. I mean, there's a slight flank coming through. Mighty Max having a little lurk. He could get some timing in his favour, and this could be all the more problematic. I think Whiffen knows he is in a very rough spot right now. And now, of course, that he's left it so long, he can't afford to try and escape back in towards kind of T-apps. Oh, he just walks past them.
I mean, he's going to hear all this noise. Whiffen. Oh, got to be careful now because it's after time. Check behind you, son. Oh my God,
that's insane.
Mate, that is one of those moments, you know, when you just sit there and your whole body just tenses up. For Whiffen, 100%, he's like bricking himself, hoping no one swings in. Arctic Raptors map pick. It's turned a bit pear-shaped in round 4. They do have somewhat of a response. I mean, you can't exactly save the AWP and then leave it hanging out to dry. 2 Deagles, Mac 10, AK, and of course that big green. Let's see what they've got in store for us here. Round number 5. It's 4 rifles and the big green for Endpoint, one of which an AK. Nerds, of course, holding it because, I mean, as we talked about in the pre-show a little bit, he's probably one of the most explosive riflers to come out of Tier 2. He is up there, man. He's unreal. Unreal right now, on a tear. And with the heavy god pickup as well, I'm excited to see, although he's not here, obviously, sort of how the duo will work out for Endpoint, right? Because obviously we've seen it so much in the past with, you know, a Flamesy, a Mezzy, now a Kierby. Obviously, he's taken medical leave and wanted to just take a step back more than anything. But, you know, they're brewing up talent. I feel like Nerds is just bound to be next on that list.
Yeah, I think, you know, for Endpoint, for a while, they've been seen as a kind of essentially a feeder team, right? In terms of they just kind of feed the tier 1 organizations, these unbelievable players like your Flames, for example. And Nert's another one that you really do hope from a UK point of view that they can keep hold of him, because he's, you know, at times single-handedly pulling this team to a lot of success, and he's seen as one of the most promising riflers. So hopefully we can continue to see him flourish. And MHL, what a young star he is. He had some great work with Miles and NXT. He's always been someone that I've sort of kept an eye on since he kind of started to come into the tier 2 space. And with Endpoint, it's been more of the same. He's been a really successful addition, and I'm hoping we continue to find more of that. Now, jumping down towards short. Will be caught by the flash as Surreal finds the first.
I mean, out on site, no matter what happens, they're going to get a bomb plant. That's a great shot from Zodi. He needs to make it a second, though. The AK is dropped. At least you have whiffing on the AWP. But, of course, only supported by a MAC-10 and a Deagle. It isn't exactly the best of worlds. Whiffing. He'll live in it, though. He's all finding the first of 3, or 4, excuse me. They still know that there's a player in PIDS. Shot from Aatrox. Hold on a second. Shaw Thomas gets a trade. It's a great shot with the AWP. It's a 2v2, and Aatrox picks up the AWP. Thomas clutch required, and he's low HP. It's the pistol drawn, and it's Aatrox that holds on. And it's a weird, wonky buy that gives Arctic Raptors 4 back in business.
That's insane. Another round again where you can say for Endpoint, everything was set up for success for them, and the fact that it doesn't go their way. Arctic Raptors, they are really cooking right now, and they've been cooking on gas. I mean, it's really been some solid work on towards their T side. They've breached or bridged the gap, may I say, of 3 rounds once again. It's always got that kind of comfort zone for them. And for Endpoint, they themselves not looking comfortable. They've looked a little bit on edge. Rookie errors starting to creep in towards their game, and this becomes a consistent factor going forward. You do start to get a little bit on the more, you know, concerned side. Now, we obviously attack pause called by Endpoint, and you can sort of understand why. They're not looking in too much of a nice space right now. They know they need to shut down this momentum that Arctic Raptors are building up.
All right. 4-1. Arctic Raptors back in pole position. I mean, both economies kind of stand on that glass floor that we see so much in Counter-Strike, where, you know, if you lose it, you're back to square one financially. It's like you work with Glocks and nothing more. Nades towards Wood. Bearbait playing on the opposite side of Banana. Molly will go past him and runs right at Thomas. Headshot found. Nice shot from Max on the FAMAS. It actually runs through whiffing. Oh my word! A gamble, a real roll of the dice. A 1-for-1, but that's kind of, you know, one of your best weapons given away. You've thrown the AWP into the mixer. As you would expect, it's kind of gone wayward. I think Ducky now, your best choice, just play on ramp. Don't peek, don't give him much, or at least wait for your teammate of Aatrox, who's currently got out on long. Make contact towards A.
Aatrox, yeah, he's got space to work with. I mean, he doesn't really need to anything too overzealous right now. Just play contact, play for the trade. They've got a real... Well, I wish this can work a lot. Hinging on Surreal, stepping up to the plate here. There's the first. Transition onto the second with ease. Brilliant. Stunning stuff from Surreal. He steps up and again bails them out. I mean, Surreal seems to be the only consistent factor for Endpoint right now. And they needed a hero, and there he is in shining armor. 8-2 as he stands on an individual level. And he's gifted Endpoint their second, thankfully.
You know, I don't like pinning blame on people in that rounds. And I don't think there is any blame, because in some worlds it does work, but the fact that Whiffin runs through Banana Smoke with the AWP, 3v3. Yeah, I mean, sure, he kills one, but he trades. Do you think that round goes a little differently? Because, of course, that was 2 on B, 1 on A. You know, you play that very differently. If the AWP just holds, maybe you just want to dart up mid, just run it right at them. I don't know, mate. No if, buts, or maybes here. It's a fast play towards B. Brilliantly done by Thomas. Switching out to the USP as well. Molotov to just try and create some space. It's the cost of 1 dink for dink. Aatrox profits from it. Gets the M4A1S as Odie on an MP9. The bomb will be given up and sort of out in the open. Zodi, 1v3. Can the Deagle work its magic? Nuts and MHL is a lethal combo that you'll be facing into here on the site. Fire off your shot, tries to pull out the smoke Unfortunately, not going to happen. A third on the board for Endpoint, so starting to work on that gap that Arctic Raptors had made, and bringing it back down and grounding the AR side a little bit more, which in this round will be on an eco. So for Endpoint, there is every opportunity for an equalizer and to start work on improving that CT side scoreline and getting yourself ahead.
Yeah, looking better, right? That's the main thing. It's starting to look a little bit more uniformed, controlled here by Endpoint. A couple of love taps in towards spawn. It's just the pistols for Arctic Raptors. So in this sort of round run rate where they've gone for that minimal investment, sticking around the 2K mark, it's, just seeing if they can find a bomb plant. That'd be nice. Probably unlikely, especially since they seem to be walking in towards an MP7, and Nerds could be in for a fairly decent amount of change.
MP7. I mean, I'll shut up because I think that gun sucks, but clearly Nerds just has some magical power with it. A brilliant 4-piece from him. It's against Ecos. We won't get too excited about the play, but financially, Nerds has basically set himself up for what feels like the rest of the half. He's really cashed in 600 per kill, 2,400 in his back pocket. And off the back of it, Arctic Raptors want to realize the issue and address it before their next investment. And so they'll take a timeout just to have a little chat.
Yeah, I've got to say as well, I always question when I see an MP7 picked up, because I think the MP9 is still not broken, but I think it's still very powerful, right? So you always think, what's the point of the extra cash? Well, there it is. Makes it look very, very easy. Credit to Nerds there as he picked himself up a lovely quad kill. I mean, of course, only pistols, so we don't need to read into it too much, as this game is tied all square. 4 rounds apiece. Also, you have to give up a lead for them to have a uniformed full buy. Here it is, AWP in play for the T side. Can't be said for the same over towards Endpoint. They're just going to opt for the rifles in towards round number 9. And that could be the difference maker for the Arctic Raptors.
Okay. Context in this round. Both teams on rifles has a harsher implication, sort of setting up the rest of the half than any other round we've played so far. 7 kills for Aatrox, 4 for Bev. I was going to say, it seems like Arctic Raptors' kill disparity is quite up there. Then again, you look at Endpoint, everyone's sort of split by a kill other than Max, who's 2 and 6, everyone on 8 or 7 kills. So a little more even on this Endpoint side. Arctic Raptors just playing a default. They got themselves a bit of brackets control, making some noise. Whiffin just doing his job in holding down Banana. Mighty Max going to hear the AWP shot. Not so sure, giving away the knowledge that the AWP is there was his best bet. Zodi might actually get pinched out of middle here. 2 from short, 1 from long. Ducky's done well to hold out the first, and a second kill for Ducky. Just overheats a bit, but Whiffin does trade. 2v2, missed shot on the AWP. That needed to be one that connects. Instead, Thomas knows about it and will get away. Whiffin, hold on, runs right up short, takes another shot, tries his best. Thomas will know about at least the big green. Will he know about the rifle? Well, now he does. 1 kill for Whiffin, 2 already on his name, makes it a third. No, a tag. 9 points of health on Mighty Max. A smoke to go on top of the molly, a Glock drawn. But Mighty Max does not play face. He wants to play for a post plant, and Whiffin, he has to be safe in where he plants. So in the smoke, sort of in the cubby. Now, isolating angles one at a time. Stands on top of coldzera. Mighty Max does not budge from the long position. Instead, wants to take a second to try and psych out within a game of timing. Who does it reward? He looks right place, right time. Mighty Max will have it covered. Close but no cigar, Whiffin. It's Endpoint to take 5. They are in front.
That's unfortunate. For Whiffin, that is just a gamble, right? It's 50-50. Does he come long? Does he come short? And he gambles upon the fact that he comes short. And Mighty Max, nerves of steel. He holds his nerve. He just stands in towards long and waits for the opportunity to arise. May I say? And it does. Endpoint bailed out a little bit there by the IGL from what was looking like an uncomfortable round. A bit of individual brilliance from Arctic Raptors. And I think, to be perfectly honest, Whiffin actually gets very unfortunate. The shot on towards long, unfortunate not to hit that. And the second time where he tags Mighty Max, I mean, yeah. In another world, he hits that shot on towards Nerds and the other one on towards Max. It's an easy post plant, but hey ho, not to be. Endpoint, for the first time, take a lead here. Question is, how far can they take it? Arctic Raptors do have a buy to work with, but there is a Galil in play, which, personally, not a fan. So, I have to see if Zodi can wield it better than most.
Mate, I've said it before in a broadcast. I'll say it again. You know exactly what I'm about to say.
It's
I
garbage.
prefer the FAMAS to the Galil.
Yeah. I'm not a fan personally. Well, do you know what, actually? That's the only thing I disagree with. I actually prefer the Galil to the FAMAS just because I feel like the Galil spray for me seems easier.
I want a little bit more context from my end, though. I say that, but on the T side, I'll just buy a Mac 10, or if I have to buy a Galil, then I'll face the music. But I'm always going to buy an MP9 over a FAMAS. I just feel like on the CT side, an MP9 just is stronger than a FAMAS. So
I'd agree.
That's my POV on it. I mean, someone's going to trash me in the Twitch chat and just call me a noob and lol, caster, you know, that kind of mentality. Zodi, nice first kill towards B. Considering you were talking about said Galil, the aforementioned weapon has opened shop up for Arctic Raptors. They are going to go for a bit of a B play. ENDmhLL slips off the coffin at the worst possible time. Thomas, he does go 1-for-1. Ducky's trade is valuable for Aatrox. Oh, mate, he's been sold the dream right now. He's got a flank that could end this entire round and put Arctic Raptors level.
I mean, this is huge. Individually, Aatrox could be the linchpin to success here, and Surreal has other ideas. Too smart, too aware, too knowledgeable. As the numbers brought level, but the bomb halfway ticked. They got to pull the pin now, Endpoint.
I mean, you are going to go for it, aren't you?
Of course, yeah.
Got to send it. Zodi in on Coffin. Sort of in the pool angle, in front of it, I should say. First kill goes Ducky's way,
Save.
Remaining 2 players. Yeah, I mean, you left it way too late, Endpoint. They'd have realised that about 5 seconds ago. And they're just going to call that one off, although a collateral. That's mega damage. Bosh, see you later. Both players fall. Nerds is the only man standing at the end of the round. Doesn't get an upgrade on the M4, but that is colossal damage on the Arctic Raptors economy. And off the back of it, they're going to be thinking, well, what do we do, right? I mean, you're obviously going to buy. You've won the round, but the fact that this is going to consist of Mac 10s, Galils, and maybe the odd AK, it's patchy for a side that has been so volatile in weaknesses and in strengths. Difficult, mate. Real difficult.
I think, you know, credit to Arctic Raptors on a map in which we said that that Endpoint have been very solid on it in terms of their history. Granted, I don't think it's as played with this roster, but, you know, previous iterations, there's always been a bit of an organization's standard, right? So, credit to Arctic Raptors. I said it was a gamble pick coming in towards this one because Endpoint used to love to float this map for a map 3. Arctic Raptors look very solid. I got to give them that. You know, their post spawns have been pretty airtight for the most part, and where they've lost, you know, their post spawns like we saw earlier, it's very unfortunate. You know, 50-50s like Whiffin had, or where he tagged Mighty, legs him, you know, with the AWP. Other scenarios, it works in their favor. So I think so far it's been pretty decent. We are into a tech port, so hopefully we can get underway momentarily. But as we stand, I think for Endpoint, they have been sort of, you know, pushed to the limit in a way which maybe a lot of people might not have expected. I think on paper, when you look at and compare these two sides in terms of the individuals, the firepower, and even just things like, you know, standard things like rankings and where they stand in terms of not only the domestic scene, but internationally speaking. It's a completely, you know, two different worlds. It's a side like Endpoint, which in terms of the UK, they're the godfathers of UK Counter-Strike, where you look towards Arctic Raptors. They're in their infancy stage. You know, they're a new organisation to the playoffs. But at the moment, going toe-to-toe, we look over towards the computer in T-Apps. We're not in one of the... It's 1 in 86 chance that it shows CS 1.1. We're not in that chance today, unfortunately. But... yeah, we are on a tech pause. So I think Mac's having just a slight issue, and hopefully we can get this show back on the road in just a mere few moments. But as I was saying, I'm just impressed with Arctic Raptors.
Yeah, I think you've got to give them some props. Sure, it's their map pick, but the fact that on T side you're keeping up to the pace of Endpoint is always pretty impressive. We'll see. Obviously, it's Ancient up next. Nuke the Decider.
Yes, yeah.
If we do need to go that far. Who knows, mate? Arctic Raptors definitely are setting some good pace here. I just want to point out financially how done in Arctic Raptors look in this round, right?
Yeah,
3 Galils, 2 Mac 10s. Considering you'd won the last round as well by bomb explosion. If you didn't know, any financial gurus out there, probably a couple of you will. But majority won't. You actually get more money for the bomb exploding than you do by winning the round by elimination.
Kills,
so
yeah.
You know what? You've actually got the most money out of this round as you possibly could for Arctic Raptors, yet somehow this buy is still just as curtains as it would be if it wasn't, right? Like,
and it would have been nice if those last two stayed alive, right? I think, you know, if they didn't die to the bomb, that would have at least helped things in terms of, you know, having less to invest into, because they're a double AK, right? So it should be 2 less rifles that they had to buy into. Yeah, so not exactly. Look at it, they're flying up towards top B, and Mighty Max meets one with my MP9, but he's traded.
I mean, that's crazy. Look at the HP bars of a couple of these players. Thomas and MHL are fighting with their lives right now. Molly towards Coffin. MHL penalizes again. 4v2. Beve, he's going to be spotted out and taken down. Whiffin's the last man standing. Does find himself the first. Wanders through the Coffin smoke. And, well, the one man you probably don't want to be meeting in this scenario is MHL. Or on the angle. He never misses these shots. Maybe I've just jinxed him. You know, not exactly going to be looking ideal when you face the other players, although within another. Smoke towards CT, spots out Nerds. If he had more ammo in the mag, that could have been a different story. But 2 kills and the 1v4 is decent. A nice attempt from Whiffin. Endpoint up to 6, so they do take the lead. But again, it's back and forth Counter-Strike. 3 kills, hurting and bleeding that economy of Endpoint that little bit more. Arctic Raptors could afford to take an eco and squish them in the next, which would financially cut Endpoint out for another round. So, yeah, again, we talk about back and forth CS. We're seeing it again and again.
Yeah, I think, again, for that one, MHL has been so crucial to success because, you know, he finds an opening double, most importantly, just staying alive. Low on HP, just being a presence is more than enough. Now, nade will come through from him as he just wants to fall away. Doesn't need to show face. It's a low buy for Arctic Raptors. Losing a man advantage in this sort of scenario gives them a lifeline in some way, which, you know, of course, you don't want to be doing. Great nade to come through. Whiffing down to 46. Bevet, not much better on 64 as the M4OS of Surreal shows face.
Nicely done from Surreal. 4v4. Again, Arctic Raptors probably going to be looking for a bit of extra damage. Beve, very low, but not dead. Meantime, Aatrox is going to assume the boiler position. I think this one, in all honesty, is just going to be a quick drawn-up round for Endpoint. Wondering if these SMGs are going to catch on to anything more financially. Hear the shots. No kills in the feed just yet, though.
Very quiet. Very slow.
Yeah,
I like this from
very
Raptors because it's methodical in terms of their approach. Bevy might become a little bit of cannon fodder here where he'll maybe take a bit of contact just to kind of get information. But speaking of, Thomas pulls the trigger and swinging out in towards short. They line up for Nerds to make it a 3K. 4 men live. And of course, hopefully, yes, the AWP collected as well. So don't need to reinvest into that. All nice to see as Endpoint extend their lead to 2 rounds now at 7-5. As we head into the final few of this half, Arctic Raptors, they've been kind of toe-to-toe for quite a while, but there's a world of possibility now where Endpoint can kind of bridge this gap and keep kind of extending it, going further and further. If they pick up an 8th here, I think they can even push towards kind of a 9-6 half.
There's chances. I want to say for both teams, though. I want to say for both teams there are good chances. 9-6 feels reasonable. Notice in that round, I think only 1 or 2 kills with the SMGs, so Endpoint don't even cash in financially on that round. Endpoint, now's your time to buck up your ideas and present your case in point and make this as one-sided as you can, because, you know, if there's ever a favourite to win this tournament, to win ESL Premiership, even though it comes from the quarterfinals and they have taken losses this season already, it would be Endpoint, wouldn't it? It really would be.
Yeah.
So definitely some expectation there. I feel like the players in the team have probably felt enough pressure. They don't need to know. They even need to be told twice. They don't know what it's like. They've been here many times before. Interesting stat for you. 7 premierships in a row. 9 out of the last 11 have gone in the way of the Arctic, the Endpoint name, not the Arctic Raptors name. MHL finding a second for Endpoint here, and while I've been blabbling on, it's been a very slow round for Arctic Raptors because they've been given 1-by-1 fights to the Endpoint side. Surreal, MHL, both collecting frags, and just like that, you feel that this round is very much done in, and Arctic Raptors probably just going to go for a bit of damage at this point.
Bevet, have a little look, see what he can do. He started so strong, Bevy, but he's sort of falling off his mantle a little bit, swinging in the MP9 dinks, and he makes it a double dink as he will fall. It's a rough swing and an upgrade over towards Max as he can collect himself an AK-47. showing face over towards Balk. I think Zodi, probably not much left in him as well, as they'll just fall away. Not much time on the clock. No chance of the bomb plants. And an AWP and an AK-47 will be ticked over into the next. Thomas is going to pick up the AK? Yes, he will. Okay, so all good. 8-5. What started so well for RT Raptors is starting to dwindle a little bit now. And you do start to get a little bit on the more, side of caution. But, we'll have to wait and see. Just going back to what you're saying earlier as well, 9 out of the last 11 is just bonkers for Endpoint. It just shows kind of the dominance. People like to say, in football, when you see like the likes of PSG or Bayern Munich, call it a farmers league. Maybe we can kind of lose that title over here if someone can contest.
Mate,
Bit of pop quiz though. Who was the last team aside from Endpoint to win Prem?
Oh, see, I knew that question would come up, and I have the answer for you. The last team to win the Premiership was the Pensioners.
Was it? Oh, was it?
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
I thought it was Wind and Rain.
That was spring 2019. It was a team called the Pensioners that won.
Oh, right. I thought it was Wind and Rain.
Maybe, I don't know, Shaney, Surreal, Jacob, Smooya, Lazza. The Pensioners.
Okay, all right. Unless they maybe changed to Wind and Rain midway through.
Well, yeah, maybe, because obviously in the Prem intro we get, it's like, oh, not since the days of Wind and Rain. So I do agree. I don't know. Anyway, Endpoint, by the way, 2v4 down to the 2v1. Surreal knows where the last player is, and Surreal and Mighty Max, the heavenly duo from the Great Britain, have managed to weave their way through to a 9th. You said 9-6. That was Arctic Raptors' best chance at 6. They might just have to settle for 5. That is painful. Very, very painful.
That's it. I mean, that looked like a surefire 2 versus 4 and credit. Max and Surreal step on. And this transfer on towards the AWP as well is huge. I mean, Aatrox, he knows that one's tough. He has to at least pluck one off and see if he can just, slink his way back in towards Apps to re-peek and isolate. Not to be. That's a choked round, I gotta say, from a 2-man advantage. 4 versus 2. They've lost it out, and experience pays in dividends there. Now, pop shot with the AWP. ENDmhLL, it invites pressure on towards Nerds, but he's in a rough spot now.
Spam coming out. Endpoint just doing very well, taking these fights. Molly might even be burning his teammate. Nerds has got to smoke himself out before the 1G happens, but you feel that the rest of his team have kind of got his back, and all the pieces of the puzzle fall into place. Aatrox, mate, there's no point saving. It's the last of the half. I mean, I get he's repositioning. Don't worry, I'm not that much of a noob, but 6 points of health, 1v4. You know how this one goes, Nao. It's going to be another 10-5, mate. Out of the 4 maps of Counter-Strike we've watched so far, 3 of them will end in 10-5. That's crazy.
I know. That is actually quite nuts. We like consistency, and there's definitely some here. It's being held here as well. Mighty Max, he's expecting, and as he gets closer, I'm sure he wouldn't have even heard the footsteps there, to be honest. Aatrox shifting his way forward. There doesn't seem to be any information relayed. We might get cleared. Doesn't matter. Low HP. Aatrox will fall. Ladies and gentlemen, at the half, 10-5 in favour of Endpoint. They've come back from 5-all. We sat at one point. A bit of a gap starting to be built up. We're going to throw this one to a break. When we are back, we'll see how things pan out in the second half.
If you would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, no. Keep coming back for you time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind, no. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah. Baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the hoops, yeah. Baby, I got you. 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 I got baby, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Ocean in between us, still I feel your heartbeat. There's something about you, baby, that makes me feel complete. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before. I know. Keep coming back for your time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind. No, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove. Yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route. Yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove. Yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the route. Yeah, baby, I got you. 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 I got, baby, I got you. 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 And the world is going wild when they come for you. And the river's running dry when it all falls through. Don't you worry about a thing, baby, I got you. You. Yeah, baby, I got you. My exes and me, we don't talk anymore. If we did, I think it would get pretty ugly. They made me believe love's an open door. In the beginning, then they shut it pretty quickly. I thought we were good, at times even great, but apparently I was just one big mistake. My exes and me, we don't talk anymore. If we did, I think it would get pretty ugly. I'm just a victim and not the evil villain, so I'm sorry, not sorry that everyone that crosses my way is gonna feel the same pain that I felt. That ain't what it seems. It's dark and cruel and mean when you're with me, you and me, you and me. I'ma show you bad, yeah, I'ma show you bad when you're with me, you and me, you and me. I'll never be brave. My exes made me this way. Oh, 'cause love ain't what it seems. It's dark and cruel and mean.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A first half that ends in the norm. The 10-5 scoreline for Endpoint CEX see themselves up by 5 at the halftime whistle on the Arctic Raptors map pick. Can things swing in the favour of the Raptors? Or will the Kings of the Jungle be able to take down the AR boys? We'll find out here on Retro, joined by Nao, take you through the action here. We haven't left you, don't worry, we're still here. Endpoint, a pistol round, it feels like, away from really securing map 1, which would be devastating to the Arctic Raptors run here. Getting quarterfinals was pretty impressive. Draw the short straw playing against Endpoint in a QF game. Sometimes it has to be done. Aatrox towards CT, got to be helping out Zodi here. I mean, he's kind of hung his teammate out to dry. Aatrox does eventually get his hands dirty, but it feels a bit too late and a bit disjointed with the trades. There's a great shot. Will kind of silence my voice and my opinion here, but a 3v3 certainly isn't ideal for Arctic Raptors to be defending upon, especially when the bomb moves towards A, but Thomas waiting in. Oh my god!
Jesus.
Waiting in on middle. I was going to say bomb moving towards B. Beg your pardon. And, well, there you go. Bomb plant. Jobs are good. And Beve, yeah, you wouldn't know what to do in this situation. Do you save? Do you, like, well, I mean, you go for it, didn't you? But what are the chances that a round like this sticks?
I think it's just got to be, you know, for him, if he can find something on exit, that'd be nice. But honestly, keeping those dualies and that flash really isn't that bad in towards the next, because they really don't have too much to work with. For Arctic Raptors, it's going to be a pretty grim buy in towards this next round for them, where for Endpoint, they're pulling away. And we already mentioned about how, you know, dangerous this side can be. And I already spoke about what Thomas is like on towards Banana. This time, of course, it isn't that case. But when he gets a rifle in his hands, an AK and Banana, Thomas is going to be a real problem towards this roster. And Arctic Raptors, anything that they can possibly find. Well, 6-round gap. And what a great start for Endpoint as well, when it's a worrying sign, to say the least, over towards the Arctic Raptors roster. As what started so well, they were 5-all at one point. They're falling quite considerably behind now.
So, an 11-5 scoreline, a pistol that kind of gives collateral to the next 2 rounds for Arctic Raptors. They're a lesser force buy than Endpoint, and then, you know, if you draw the short straw here in round number 17 as well, you're back to an eco. So it really doesn't impose the best thought, especially, you know, when you talk about a best of 3, you should be winning your map pick and losing your oppositions. For Arctic Raptors, they might not even get their map pick under their belt, and of course throws a lot of question marks into the air about the BO3 in general. Zodi's been left on his own to hold down B as Endpoint decide to execute. They want to get themselves involved. Zodi drops a smoke in response. Max will be seeing that smoke and going, I hid in that. Maybe Zodi's doing the same, but there's a gap and there's a nade, so that'll be good for them. 5v4. Now, of course, this might beckon a bit of a rotate. Only one person bites on it. So if Endpoint do double dip the B-bomb site, they're going to be walking into a very, very nice, easy execute.
Well, that's it for sure, for now. Utah being set up, and all kind of for nothing, in a way. There's no one here, as you mentioned. It's going to be a very easy takeover towards B. They're showing their face, they're letting people know about their presence, but it doesn't matter. Surreal might potentially be able to bag himself a couple of kills. He hears all the information. The sound cue's out towards long, and he'll just shift walk his way through.
Surreal. Ooh. Gotta be careful here, because he's actually moved past one of the CTs. Oh, mate. Oh my god, they're turning. Whiffin was looking CT. Now he's looking towards B. Surreal just wants to tuck up. X-ray goes off. Spots the back. Easy headshot. Could have even gone for a knife, in all honesty. Whiffin was just kind of standing there. Jobs are good. And, well, ultimately, I think we know where this round's going. It'll be Endpoint up to 12. No chance at a save. Or at a round win. It will just be a save. Done.
That's it. It goes 12-5 now. 7-round lead built up, and Endpoint 4 away from taking their opponent's map pick in quite a dominant fashion as well. I mean, what started and looked originally like this was going to be, you know, tooth and nail, fighting for each round all the way to the very end. Unfortunately for Arctic Raptors, they just couldn't quite keep up that tempo. And you look towards, you know, a couple of individuals like Bever, for example. Of course, I know he's only a stand-in, but he started so well. He had 3 kills in the first 2 rounds. And, you know, he's only got 1 since. It's been slow performances across the board where, you know, aside from Aatrox, the rest have really struggled to get any sort of success under their belts. And you've seen a few of those people over towards the T side just be running away with the frag in the apartment. And there's one to mention. I mean, Surreal. 18-5, he has been farming.
Not doing too bad as he nuts. Oh, okay. ESP through the smoke. I think Zodi was giving him a good run for his money. If it moves into second mid, Surreal. Okay, man. Just finding kills. Easy as you like. 5v3. And ultimately, Endpoint are in pole position to take this one away as well. It was, as I said, collateral, right? You win the pistol. You expect your opposition to force. Once they do force, it's an eco. From the eco, like, it's done, isn't it, really? It is.
That's it.
It is all the way of Endpoint right now. 13-5, 3 away from victory. Yes, it is looking quite all right.
It feels done, doesn't it? I mean, it's, you know, it's hard to be positive in this note over towards Arctic Raptors because they are really struggling now to even be competitive in a sense. I think and a lot of credit has to be given to Endpoint in the way in which they've kind of composed themselves and gone about this game. It has been pretty one-sided stuff so far. The pistols remaining for Arctic Raptors, I mean, if they can save them, that'll be nice. It doesn't really matter because they'll have a buy-in towards the next either way. Endpoint, they're looking fearless right now, and understandably so. 13-5 is just phenomenal work.
I mean, they don't go hunting. You kind of get why, because keeping all these weapons is just building up your economy. 5 survive. Arctic Raptors have to basically drop every single dollar into this round. So for Endpoint, even if they, you know, lose out on this round, or even if they win this round and Endpoint lose out, I mean, look at everyone's money. player with the least amount of money is Thomas, and he's got 4.9k. That's enough for 8k armor full util without even accounting for the loss bonus. So, hey man, it's looking pretty good. One last stab at it for Arctic Raptors, otherwise they'll be losing out on Inferno, their pick. You move on to Ancient, which, I mean, to be fair, they start on the CT side. Maybe they can make a dent. But if you showcase, as you said, sort of the first 8 rounds, even the first 5 rounds, you know, Arctic Raptors, it was 4-1, 4-all, 5-all, super back and forth. They looked like they had a decent run in. From 5-all, I mean, you know, you've played 10 rounds, and now at Endpoint have just won the next 8 in a row, and it could be number 9. Yeah, it really has looked bleak in the second portion of this game for Arctic Raptors. But as you said, if you showcase the first few rounds, like, they didn't look like a half bad team. They were giving Endpoint a decent run in.
I'd say they were, you know, they were at least making it competitive and at least kind of putting into our eyes that maybe, potentially, we could see something different. Now, decent start in terms of util damage. Notice down to 41, not too shabby. Thomas on 79. Where for Arctic Raptors, they've taken a little chunk, but they've got all the space to work with. And a re-smoke in towards top banana just denies that control that Endpoint are looking to have. And we mentioned about how scary Thomas can be in towards banana as a rifler. But he's limited now by the util.
Taking banana at least. And well, moving in towards B. Endpoint going to get counter-smoked. Do believe there was a smoke flash combo, and Aatrox just rattles MHL through the wall. Through the smoke as well, just as the cherry on top finds himself a 5v4. But for Surreal, you know, when there's failure towards B, he sees success towards A. And he's found himself some pretty deep brackets control with and can't really go peek in this, but he's clearing it. Pixel by pixel. Surreal walks into the guillotine, and all of a sudden, looks like Endpoint can only go towards B. And this is what I was on about. Arctic Raptors put up the barrier. They're able to find themselves another round. Thomas pre-firing it, though, brilliantly. Is there going to be a smoke in from CT? No one's got one other than Thomas, so indeed, it will be have to have him to let loose on it. And Nerds through the wall. 10 seconds, but there's time to get a bomb plant. Now it's a 3v3.
Yeah, Thomas got an aggro as well in that post plant. Just having a little look in towards Church. See if you can find something. Speaking of, Aatrox will drop max. That changes things. The numbers favour the CT side of the crossfire. Very, very reliant on an overextension from the CT side, as Thomas expects and hopes. And he'll get a swing, and Ducky will find him.
That's legs up. Finds your first tag. 10-second stick. Flash goes over. Nerds has himself the first. And the second Nerds. Oh, nearly has it covered. Ducky, does he have the time with the kit? He does indeed. It's mega close.
It's close.
But a nice attempt from the AWPer. Well, the AWPer, I say. It was Nerds. He's not an AWPer. He's a rifler, naturally. It was a nice attempt from the AWP. In a rifler's hands, proving it still can be very, very lethal. The 6th on the board for the Arctic Raptors. But massive, massive detriments financially. And Endpoint, as I said, they lived in bliss heading into this round. Never mind coming out of it. So, yeah, going to be looking pretty good here to just send in the buy once more. And give him another test.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, no, that's credit to him. 1 versus 3, and he brings it down to the 1 versus 1. Maybe even if he just played a little bit more time there, it could have been a different story, but that's all with the benefit of hindsight. You two will come through. Whiffin takes the initial point of damage. There's space for Nerds to work with. We saw him do it with an AWP. Now he's got his traditional AK-47 in hands. He's just peering above the smoke, waiting for it to dissipate.
Swinging from Nerds. That's what I'm on about, man. Volatility with the big man. The rifle is just powerful any position you put him in. You talk about, you praise him highly, you know, on your personal basis now, saying, you know, he's one of the best tier 2 riflers out there. You reckon he 100% could follow in another Endpoint?
I think
Israeli
100% will be tier 1 within the next year and a half. I mean, I think he's probably, in terms of hot prospects to snipe away from tier 2 organizations, Nerds in terms of his abilities up there. I mean, he's got to be at the forefront of a lot of people's minds in terms of a consistent rifler who's just got that about them. And we know Endpoint scouting system's unbelievable. They produce talents, Boros, Flames have all come through and all been, you know, poached by bigger and better. So I'm expecting him to be all the same. And another one of their hot talents they picked up, MHL. Great entry. Bevy will be dropped, and that feast like cracked wide open.
I can't believe you've just listed off names of people that have moved on to bigger and better things, and you didn't even mention Mezzy, mate.
Yeah, I'm also Mezzy as well.
What's going on there?
Of course, you know. But, you know, in all fairness, he's kind of, you know, a jack of all trades in IGL. I was kind of just leaning in favour of, you know, the insane rifles.
Yeah,
I
hear you.
know. Yeah.
And then again,
Boris is another one of those ones that could definitely play at a tier 1 level. I think, you know, there's just external reasons as to why he hasn't. But if I take a prediction, I wouldn't even call it bold. I would say there's at some point someone will come knocking at a tier 1 level and pick Nerds up. Because he's been up there for me, and of course he can play in international rosters, no problem. People need fight, and international rosters are becoming the norm these days. I feel like, you know, and we're seeing some of these Israeli guys who have just been nothing short of special, right? I mean, you know, obviously Flames, but Spinks as well. I mean, that guy's an absolute god. I think Nerds is kind of next to follow in their footsteps.
Wow, fair. There you go. He's dropping sauce, saying that's the one. Fair enough. I respect it. Let's see though, fella. Can Endpoint close the show? Hit the roadblock, as I said. You know, the first full buy for Arctic Raptors when Endpoint were playing a bonus. It certainly did look to be going the way of Arctic Raptors. Since then, Endpoint have put themselves back on track. A flash that blinds Zodi, but partially. Nuts. Slipping up close. Eve playing close with an MP9. Spam from Thomas. And a smoke put up between these two teams. Again, just buying time here for the Arctic Raptors boys. Nothing more than it. Molotov towards Sandbag. Zodi's kind of forced out, but not far enough. MHL thinks someone's on the corner. Goes spamming. He will be victorious in the first engagement. Ducky didn't have real say in it. Second frag does go their way. Beve, MP9 swings out. Mighty Max trades. And, well, Aatrox, timing. Blessed with that. Oh, now Cyril knows. Well, the collateral to that is he would have spotted him go second mid, but also Whiffin's there. He's able to find one and your second. 15-6. Map point, ladies and gents. Endpoint opening the series up in a very, very convincing fashion.
Seriously, crisp from Surreal. I mean, he's continued to impress me. I mean, he's always been a rifler who's just been, you know, solid. I think it's probably the better way to put it, where, you know, your likes of your Nerds are the more star players, but Surreal has been just superb in towards Inferno so far, and it's again showing about how dominant Endpoint are, and then especially on this map as well. It's always been a pocket pick for them, and we've seen it come through once again. Arctic Raptors 9 rounds behind, and they're playing for overtime here, but it seems far-fetched to even believe that idea will come to fruition. Zodi, Molotov, though, will force Nerds to fall to the hands of the MP9.
So there is light at the end of the tunnel, but, you know, to add the context, maybe just not of the round, but of the entire map. That is one impactful kill in a scenario where quite literally no mistakes can be made for 9 rounds consecutively for Arctic Raptors. You know, doesn't look too good, doesn't bode too well for them. Thomas certainly want to be flushing, whiffing out of the logs angle. Molly hasn't gone deep with it. Still stuck in that close left. No one's cleared him. Now they will. He finds one in a second with the MP9. So there's promise. 2v4. Endpoint. Got to be careful at MHL. Nearly gets caught off with the upgraded rifle. 2v3. Switches back out to the big green. Cyril now goes looking to try and reintroduce Endpoint to this round.
MHL's got the smoke as well. He needs to drop in towards CT if they want any sort of security. And Surreal, a Molotov in his hands, could maybe go in towards Dark just to get a little bit of comfort about where to play from. Surreal leading the charge. And in comes that Molly in towards Nubok. It's the perfect place. But a pot flash off the back of it. Aatrox swinging, hoping to find some success. If he falls, it's cracked open. He goes 1 for 1.
1v2 for Surreal. I mean, he's had a great game so far. Taps the bomb. Ducky doesn't move. Cyril goes swinging. Oh, but he finds the angle. Very lucky. Now he goes to plant. Surprise, someone's behind him. Oh, a whiff. No. Oh, Cyril nearly wins out, but he's got no time. All he's got to do is hide Mr. Beve. He runs for the hills on Banana. No upgrade of a weapon. But man, does that get close. They nearly throw that round entirely, Arctic Raptors, but they do manage to hold on, and at least they get themselves a 7th.
Oh, that was close. That was seriously close. I mean, that head on a swivel 180 there from MHL. Nearly was an absolute highlight reel play to see it off at a 16-6 fashion. Not to be. 7th on the board for Arctic Raptors. They're at least, you know, having a bit of a conversation here on towards their CT side that they have some fight left in the old dog here, but a lot to be done. Still a mountain to climb. It's only going to take place once again. That MP9 in towards Banana, of course, issues in towards that previous round. Dropping Nerds early doors was huge. This time he's met with 95 points of damage.
Sometimes those AKs hurt. Let's have a look now, Zodi. Gone. Mighty Max opens things up now. Of course, it's the spring towards A. Multi-pronged attack here. Great flashbang from Apartments. Nade dropped in. Doesn't actually do much to Ducky, but Amoli certainly will try and flush these CTs out from Pit, but it's been very delayed here. It's bought valuable time for these rotates to happen. MHL will catch off whiffing. 3v3. And instead of committing towards A, they're going to run it back towards B. Only one man for the job right now. Beve needs to get his running shoes on to make sure he gets to B before the T's do. Otherwise, this round is well and truly done.
All down to one man. As you mentioned for Beve, it needs to be brilliant here. He's been quiet. We need something special. Flash. One will cross a second as well. Bomb should be able to go down. Beve, can he pull off some magic? They're not holding the smoke as well, but he does choose. He opts not to push through it. Just waiting for the rotation to come through. Play time, play the numbers.
Makes sense that he wants to wait for his teammates, but of course now it puts him in the post plant where only one kit is accessible and a single Molotov now is all they've got to work with after the smoke being burnt towards CT. Beve, here's your first kill, fella. Mighty Max on the AWP. Nerds alongside him with a rifle. A second kill. It's all down to Beve. 1v2. His position known. Both players low. But as he swings out, Mighty Max will find it. And it's Endpoint that take map 1. I mean, you know, decent start for Arctic Raptors. Couldn't get things done in the second half. Endpoint claim 1 map but to none. It's their pick of Ancient up next. Will they be able to close the show 2-0? Or will Arctic Raptors find a way to fight back? We'll find out after this. Don't go anywhere.